guys, and welcome to my new series. Um, I don't know why I'm choosing to do this. I just feel like I should because, yeah, welcome to my new series called Things My Ex Has Said or Done to Me that, um, and I still stayed. Oh, yeah. Things my ex has said slash done to me that, and I still stayed with her. And these will not be in order. These things I will be stating won't be in order, by the way. Since I'm just going off of memory rather than checking, um, text messages since I have her blocked, obviously. So I'm gonna start with the most memorable one or the most, like, insane one, I guess. My ex, blamed me for her friend, versus her friend and my ex-friend's death. I actually have to give backstory on this one. So, if you've watched my videos before, rest in peace to my friends watching this video who have to um hear this for the 10th time. But I own um a couple projects. I do projects like series and TV shows and movies. And before I did like my own series, I did a fan made project for the Roblox game Dandy's World, and it was inspired by the current and known lore, and then we just added whatever me and the other writers thought was like cool, I guess, is what I should say. But that's how I met this girl or my ex, which we will refer to or call what should we call her? I'm gonna call her Maddie because for some reason that's what her name on Discord is, her like old account. Because she did stalk me. She did stalk me, but that's another that's gonna be said in the next part. But Melon, let's call her Melon. Yes, let's call her Melon. So was Melon and I were we had just made this server. I just made the server and added them into it. And Melon said was we were just talking about random things we wanted to do for the series, not only to like improve like production, but just like random things. I don't remember exactly what we were talking about. And then she came up with this idea that we should do a musical. And I was like, I don't know about that, right? But after she like explained properly, I was like, that could be really cool. Um, we work really hard on this, right? And we get literally the whole entire team that works, not the whole entire team, just most of the most like well-known people on board with this idea. And we start working at it. We start planning out how many songs there was going to be. And I remember I originally told Melon that we don't want more than like 9 songs because we didn't have a lot of composers at the time versus how many we have now. We had like what? I want to say like 2 or 3. And they were like, okay, but they literally ended up giving us a track list with over like 20 songs, but we'll get back to that, right? So actually explaining what happened now to have backstory and like context. So one day while we were working on it, because we decided to change the musical because the series is horror. It's not like whatever you'd call it, it is actual horror. Um and I thought that like doing a musical for a horror series didn't really make much sense because obviously the theme makes no sense. But we were planning out lore because remember this series that I was working on, keep in mind that this series I was working on um had the production had only started like I want to say like 3 months or only 2 months before this decision was made. And keep in mind this series already has 2 seasons. Um confirmed. So we didn't organize the lore properly because we're still working on episode 1. Like I think script for episode 1 of this series, not the fan made one. This series is the original one. I believe that the script for it was still in writing and much of the lore wasn't like finished. So writing lore for a musical movie that was in the literal middle of the series was really difficult and we were all over the place trying to organize stuff. Um and honestly in a way it still are, but we are mostly focusing on the series. Um but yeah. Um, they were both writers for this to help out. And I remember, so what happened? So what actually happened? What happened was when I went to bed. Like, I don't remember what time I went to bed. But I went to bed at about like 9. Keep in mind, me and Maddie have the same exact time zones. And Maddie also had like a bedtime. I don't like referring to it as a bedtime, but more of like a time where she had to get off the computer. And it was like 11. It was like 11 p.m. or something. And I woke up the next day. I was like, let's see what we can like, discuss. And all I see is in one of the GCs, there's over like what? About like 200 missed messages. Yes, this is normal when you're having a deep discussion, but like what in the world? And when I looked, the only people that were talking was said Maddie and Melon. I'm like, what? what in the world could they be talking about? And if that wasn't already insane already, they were talking about lore. They were up at like 12. Yeah, I remember like 12 a.m., 1 a.m. Yeah, they didn't go to bed until like 1 a.m. And they were talking about lore from 12 a.m. Now, to some people this might not be an issue, but keep in mind, I was the only owner of that project at the time. And the owners of the musical consisted of Maddie. Well, I don't really want to say that. The owners consisted of me. I was the owner of the series and the whole entire production. And then specifically for the musical, I had Melon and Maddie were not owners. Melon was a director, not even an owner. Sorry, Melon wasn't even an owner. She was the director, just a director for it. And whereas, keep in mind they did agree to that. Later on, she was given the owner role, but that was like I'm pretty sure I gave her the owner role like 2 days before that. I would have to double check, but I'm pretty sure I gave her the owner role and let her be an owner for the musical 2 days before that, 2 days prior. And when I woke up the next day, I saw Melon and Maddie had changed the lore. All the lore that we had written for the musical and a good chunk, I believe, of the lore for the series was completely changed. Me and the other owner, because it was me and this person. I know this isn't their real name, but I don't want to call them that, so I'm gonna call them Dr. Pepper because it was close to what their name was. Dr. Pepper, me and Dr. Pepper were the owners of this the musical as well. And we had not been notified about this because once again, this was at 12 a.m. in the freaking morning. And yeah, because it was 12 a.m. in the morning when they were talking, and I would never be up that late. I always go to bed at like around 9, latest being 11. There is no way I'm up that late. I usually go to bed at 9, so there was absolutely no way I could have seen that. And Dr. Pepper was in a different time zone than them. There was absolutely no way we could have known, like, at all. Anyways, so when we find out, because like I said, we didn't know. When we find out that morning, um, Melon is offline because of time zone, so it would have been like only like 4 a.m. in the morning for them when it was like 9 a.m. or like 10 a.m. for us, right? And they weren't awake yet. And I was livid, as I should have been, because I had so much trust. Keep in mind, even though I am the owner of all of my productions, I do let all of my writers have creative freedom. Does that mean they can just change whatever they as they like confirmed lore that we decided we weren't going to change? No. It means that I let them have creative freedom and they get credit for whatever ideas they came up with. And the fact that they just changed everything was bizarre to me. But yeah, I was livid. I was pissed. I was like, why in the world would you do this? And you want to know what their first reaction was? Their first reaction was like, no, like Maddie's first reaction was like, "What are you? Why are you mad at me? We were just helping. We were just putting in our daily hours." That's not putting in your daily hours. That's going behind the owner's backs to do something and work on a project that is not yours. And I remember we had to wait all the way. We had to wait so long for Melon to wake up. But when they did, and I made sure this is where we're starting to get to this part of why Maddie blamed me for Melon's death. Um fired I fired Melon for because I do want to say prior to this, Melon had no, not prior. After this, was it prior? I don't remember. I'm gonna have to look at some dates on Discord. But either prior or after this, no. It would have had to been prior because after this I did fire them. But prior to this, they were mean to Saf. They were rude to me and Dr. Pepper, in front of someone who's auditioning to be a composer for the production. And in private too. And it was like, bro, what the hell? And I had enough because I will put up screenshots if I'm not too lazy. I'll put up screenshots here. And they told me something like you would be nothing without me, or you can't run this project by yourself, or if you died, if I died, all of the stuff I written would still go to my name, as if I'm trying to steal credit from her. Like, for the record, I do take accountability for the fact that I could have talked better to Melon. I do take credit, I do take accountability for that, because prior to this, I had said Melon, get over here, like in all caps or something, or I'm gonna kill you. What was that? What I said? Was that what I said? I don't know. Whatever the screenshot says. Whatever the screenshot says, bro. Um, yeah, I said that, and yeah, but I do take accountability for what I'd said to them because I do know that that wasn't very nice. I do understand that what I said wasn't nice or a right way to start a conversation, but at this exact same time, there were so many easier ways to tell me how you felt. And that's exactly why I cut her slack for that. Because I felt bad about what I said. That's the only reason she was still in the series, or the series and musical, because she was also the voice actor for a main character. And that's why I cut them slack. Anyways, so I fired Melon, and I demoted I demoted Maddie because they were my literal partner and they went behind my back and teamed up with someone who has been mean to me. I'm pretty sure I had told Melon about how the way the I'm pretty sure I did tell Maddie about the way Melon was treating me, and they did not care, like, at all. Anyways, I fired Melon and from all of my projects, the ones I had at the time and all future projects, and I demoted Maddie from the musical. I think I kicked her out of the musical, and I demoted her to only a voice actor for a main character in the series. Yes, it was that bad. It was literally that bad. This is about a month later after this situation, so I would say this happened in November, but I don't really remember dates because a lot has happened to me. A lot has happened to me. When I say a lot has happened to me, I mean it. But a month later, this is a trigger warning here. Trigger warning. A month later, I'm chilling, and I haven't had contact with Melon in like what? I haven't had contact with Melon in a month, right? Because it's been a month since I fired them, and I usually don't talk to people I fire or my exes like at all. One being an exception. Cough. For people, because not everyone I fire or not everyone who stops being in my series is a bad person. Some of the time they're just not feeling well or have health issues or something. But most of the cases it is that they are a bad person. But yeah, moving on. So, I got a text from one of her close friends. I do want to say prior to this, I had told everyone if they had Melon friended to unfriend them or leave the series. I gave them options with this thing. And I told them because I was scared. I was genuinely scared that she was gonna try and do something. Because reminder, like most of the people still had Melon friended even after everything they had done. So yeah, this was my way of protecting my series. Could I have handled it better? Maybe. But this is what I had chosen. This is what I thought was right. And I'm not going to apologize for doing what I had to do to protect my team and myself from possible harm or controversy. And everything was fine. But like I said, I got a text from one of her close friends. We'll call them Blueberry. And Blueberry tells me, trigger warning, that Melon did suicide. And they died last night. Not like literally last night, but like I think the day they died was December 16th, so keep that in mind. Yeah. Um, and before anyone comes in this comment section and starts talking about how I'm self-absorbed and whatever, I just want to before I get to the point of what how my ex-partner blamed me for her death, I do want to say that I took so much unnecessary accountability for her death. I cried multiple times and I felt horrible because I felt like I was the cause. But after a while I just realized that I wasn't. And that's what got on Maddie's nerves. You see, this is what happened. So we were playing Dandy's World. Me, Maddie, and some new friends we had met on Roblox were playing Dandy's World, and we had just came out of a run, and we had seen Bobbit. Like I said, this was during Christmas because this was this month because I broke up with Maddie this month. We were playing Dandy's World and with some new friends on Roblox, and I was talking about how much research I had on Bobbit because I was trying to get her before the Christmas update left because like she came out in like I believe 2025. No, she came out in 2024 of the update that was in 2024. I think is that correct? So I might be I'm not getting timelines. Please tell me I'm not getting timelines confused. But she came out in 2024 and I wasn't able to get her and I didn't want to wait another year because it would have been 2 years until that I hadn't gotten her. So that's what I did. I farmed, as we call in Royal High, or grinded, which I don't like referring to, but yeah. I was like literally grinding freaking research for a week. And I had like what 50% on her. This is another story inside of the story, but basically, every time I would talk about how much research I had, Maddie would speak over me and say, "Oh, I have like 80%." And to some people, that's just like I don't know, like because some people just don't understand. But for me, that was annoying. Having someone tell you whenever you're trying to talk about something and someone won't stop talking about themselves, it's obnoxious. I'm sorry. Like I get you want to maybe be included, but I never left you out of no conversation. You don't have to start bragging because she said it in a very bragging way. You don't have to start bragging up in here about how you have more than me. Because I don't do that. I didn't do that to Maddie. But they would always do that to me for some reason. We were playing with one of the friends, because we were wondering where one of the friends went. And one of the other people, I will call them Star. This person named Star, said, guys, they blocked us on everything. They literally unfriended all of us. And the only person they didn't unfriend was the one person in the friend group aside from Maddie that was super duper toxic. Just to keep in mind, on the same exact day, I had defended Maddie. And the other person in the group that was really toxic, we're gonna call them Ollie, I guess. Ollie was saying to Maddie that they were saying because Maddie was taking a second to join. They were being super duper impatient and started like I don't remember exactly what they're doing, but point is they were being very disrespectful to Maddie, which obviously, if you know, I protect my partner, whoever it is, girl or not, to the literal death, to the literal death. And I'm like, dude, do not say that. I will literally leave. And um and I was the only person they didn't unfriend. Now I just want to point out that me and Maddie have a very different take on life. A very different take on life. And she looks at things differently, but I'm not gonna say that's an excuse because it is not. Not an excuse bad behavior. Anyways. And getting to the point that everyone wants to know. So I was we were talking about it, and I was like, "Yo, f this dude." Like yeah, like fuck this dude. Why are we spending our whole entire afternoon crying about someone who left us? If they left us, they chose to. You can't make someone not want to leave you. You shouldn't. Well, yes, but like I said, my mentality is different. I'm not going to spend my whole entire day, my whole entire afternoon. I'm not going to waste more time on a human being who does not want to be bothered with me. You know, because I believe they were mad at us because we the Sprout, which keep in mind none of us were playing the Sprout, did not back up Distract. And I'm pretty sure the character the tune I was playing as, I couldn't back up Distract anyways. So yeah, that's how stupid this is. And I was like, yo, fuck this dude, let's move on with our lives. And then Maddie had the audacity to speak up and was like, are you sure you want to lose someone else to that I shouldn't make the same decision I made with Melon because I was gonna end up regretting it. They were like, are you sure you want to do this? You want to make a decision you're gonna regret in the future? Girl, I got so pissed. Valid. I got so pissed. I was like, excuse me? And it got into this whole entire argument that ended up being taken back to Discord. I was like, yo, what the hell? And I'm like, they were like yelling at me in text. And I'm like, stop it, stop it, stop it. Like I literally said, stop, 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 stop. I was like, you need to seriously stop trying to blame me for someone's death that I didn't contribute to. I was barely even involved in it in general. Because reminder, I had them like what, blocked? Yeah, I had them blocked. Well, yeah, I had them unfriended and I didn't text them anymore. I can literally show proof of me not being in contact with them. And she went on and on, Maddie went on and on. And until I finally said stop, right? And I said stop saying this. And then she's like, you can say you're not the main reason for it, but you can't deny that you didn't contribute to it. I've never been so mad at myself for not saying more to her dumb ass fucking face. I'm sorry. Because it was so unnecessary. So, okay, you know what? I've been filming for like 44 minutes. I'm gonna end this here to get like your opinions on it, even though some of you already know this story. And the thing is, if you try to excuse Maddie's behavior, you will have problems. You wanna know why? Because that's unhumane. Why? Why are you going out of your way? And this is a thing that I never understood why I stayed with them in the first place, because they would always push me to my limits. I would always have to be the person who apologized. Reminder, I would always have to be the person that apologized. And especially for this situation, not even 5 seconds later, I had to do damage control and said, okay, let's go play Dandy's Road. Like, I had to like, because the people in the server were wondering what was going on. In the Dandy's Road server, they were wondering what was going on. And I had to do damage control. And I said, let's just do this run and stop. I always have to be the person doing damage control. I always have to, I can't. To this very day, I still think about Melon. Not because I want to, and certainly not because I care. I don't care that she died or any of that. Because I just want you to also know that after all this girl has done to me, after all Melon has done to me, I let her friend, who I don't know who I called them. I don't know what I referred to them as. I told them that they could tell everyone in my server related to my series that they could tell everyone about the ceremonial, or is that what you say? The funeral or service or whatever they were hosting for her. And I let them do that. And plus like the two other announcements regarding Melon alone. And when I said in the server or whatever, I don't know if I directly told Maddie, but I said it, she got so pissed. She was like, "Oh, why are you like not letting any more announcements for Melon be said?" Because my server isn't a funeral home. My server is, especially that one, is a series about horror. What does that have to do with someone in real life's death? Anyways, macaroni out.